President Rodrigo Duterte says he pleaded with Chinese President Xi Jinping to prioritize the Philippines when providing an effective vaccine that would cure COVID-19. He says this during his fifth State of the Nation address, or SONA, on Monday, July 27.
4 days ago, I made a plea to President Xi Jinping that if they have the vaccine, can they allow us to be one of the first, or if it's needed, if we have to buy it, that we will be granted credit so that we can normalize as fast as possible.
The Philippines is looking to start Phase 3 clinical trials for 5 vaccines in October 2020. Of the 5, 3 are being developed in China. In the same speech, the president calls on Congress to reinstate the death penalty for violators of the country's anti-drugs law.
I reiterate the swift passage of a law reviving the death penalty by lethal injection for crimes specified under the Comprehensive Dangerous Act of 2002.
This is the third time he mentions the death penalty in his SONA. Congress failed to pass a law reinstating the death penalty in the past 4 years. The president also lashes out at media giant ABS-CBN in the first 5 minutes of the speech. Duterte reiterates his years-long tirade against the embattled network and its owners, the Lopez family.
Media is a powerful tool in the hands of oligarchs like the Lopezes, who use their media outlets in their battles with political figures. I am a casualty of the Lopezes during the 2016 election.
President Rodrigo Duterte starts and ends his fifth State of the Nation address with attacks against Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon. He slams the opposition senator together with media giant ABS-CBN in the first 5 minutes of his speech, after a brief mention of the coronavirus pandemic. Drilon drew the ire of the president after the senator said, "Political dynasties must be banned to truly dismantle the oligarchy."
In an interview, he arrogantly mentioned, among others, that oligarchs need not be rich. Then he linked the anti-dynasty system with oligarchy, and the topic was my daughter and son.
Duterte's 3 children are also in elective office. Duterte also says Drilon was obviously defending the Lopez family, but Drilon denies this.
The president thought I was referring to him. No, I was not. It has been a bill that I filed since even before. He mentioned about my favoring the Lopezes. Maria, I owe nothing to the Lopezes. I owe them nothing. The fact that I defended ABS-CBN because it was on the principle that the unjust act of the House of Representatives poses a danger to our press freedom. And that's all that I was fighting for.
Former government coronavirus task force advisor Tony Leachon says the Philippines missed the opportunity to address the pandemic when Metro Manila and other parts of the country were placed on lockdown in mid-March.
We missed the bus We missed the opportunity during the first nating lockdown. Sana during that time of the lockdown, we would have actually constructed yung mga testing center, contact tracing, isolation. But we were late then
Leachon says other countries that experienced SARS and H1N1 had low coronavirus cases because they started with testing and contact tracing without the benefit of the lockdown.
Ang missed opportunities natin was actually when we declared that on March 15. Dapat dun tayo nagmabilis But we only appointed the SARS. So we're doing this in the midst of crisis when it's almost 80,000. We should have done that way before during the March imposition of the ECQ.
Leachon suggests placing Metro Manila under ECQ or modified ECQ for 2 weeks to help the country strengthen its healthcare system. But economist JC Punangbayan says the country should prioritize the health crisis before the economic crisis.
So I agree completely with the point of Dr. Tony that we should go back to stricter quarantine restrictions. When it comes at this point, I think it's safe to say na talagang we have to prioritize the health crisis before the economic crisis.
As of Monday, July 27, the Philippines records 82,040 coronavirus cases. This figure is near the 85,000 mark that the University of the Philippines Octa Research Group earlier projected the country will reach by July 31. Police arrest at least 5 jeepney drivers, including one senior citizen, Monday morning, July 27, on their way to the State of the Nation Address protest at the University of the Philippines Diliman campus in Quezon City. The 5 are affiliated with transport group Piston, protesting against the government's jeepney phase-out. The jeepney driver's lawyer points out they were not even in a public gathering. The Philippine National Police earlier warned it will arrest protesters outside UP Diliman, the designated protest area. Meantime, Manila police confiscate anti-terror law protest materials from Akbayan members attending mass inside Quiapo Church Monday. At least 2 policemen seized the protest materials, which were not being used, from people who were seated at the back. Akbayan Citizens Action Party spokesperson for SONA, Macris Cabreros, says they will file a complaint against the policemen. In Tuguegarao City, police addressed 2 protesters Monday. The 2 are teenagers and identified as members of the League of Filipino Students and Kabataan Party List, Cagayan Valley. Cagayan Provincial Police Chief Ariel Kilang says the 2 violated the general community quarantine rule that anyone aged 21 and below must stay at home unless they are out for essential travel. Protest is not a form of essential travel. President Rodrigo Duterte, during his 5th State of the Nation address on Monday, July 27, says there were no human rights violations when martial law was declared in Mindanao from May 23, 2017 to December 21, 2019. This is false.
Certain sectors expressed concern when I declared martial law in Mindanao and its extension 3 times. But 2019 ended without my office requesting any further extension. Martial law in Mindanao ended without abuses by the civilian sector, by the police, by the military.
Thousands of human rights abuses were recorded during the years that Mindanao was under martial law. Human rights group Karapatan says there were at least 815,000 victims of civil and political rights violations from May 23, 2017 to May 23, 2019. The Commission on Human Rights, or CHR, urges the government to address the human rights violations in the area. It says it received reports of torture, profiling, and infringement of rights.